It has been so great to be at Kingswood University today. It's a little bit dismal on the outside, but bright, shining Son of God on the inside. Today I was a part of a service that was really a blessing. I spoke from Luke 24, the story of the two disciples on the road to Emmaus after the resurrection. Essentially, was sharing that the real Jesus, the Christ, the risen Lord, was with them, but they did not recognize him at first. And comparing how so many times in worship we fail to recognize that the risen Lord is really among us, really present, really here, and that the actuality of that understanding really transforms worship. So it was a great morning. We were able to take the table of the Lord together, which also emphasized, of course, the story from Luke 24 and reminded us that Christ is present. Love being at Kingswood, great people, great students. It's been fun.
Today in chapel, Dr. Constance Cherry brought the word to us from IWU, and she spoke out of Luke chapter 24 and talked about the disciples on the walk to Emmaus and how, just like the disciples in worship, half of the time we don't even realize that Christ is right there with us. And she just encouraged us to embrace the reality of Christ in our worship, that worship is not an event about God, but we worship through Jesus Christ and we minister to God's own heart, and that leads to humility in worship. And she just encouraged us to embrace the presence of Christ, which we did through communion, and it was just an awesome time of revelation.
Today in KU Chapel, we were given a word through Constance Cherry, and she talked about how in Luke 24, they didn't realize that Jesus was among them, and how that sort of relates to the way that we work in our churches today, and how in our worship we forget a lot of the times that Jesus is among us, and how we need to make him the core of our worship. That worship is more than the music. Beyond that, it is fellowship with God through Jesus.